Dun 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 dun. We joke about Valve being lazy. Well, those jokes aren't completely wrong. Valve is definitely lazy. They take forever to make games and they never communicate with the players. Yeah, they're lazy. And the Dota 2 team of Valve is no different. However, when they cook, dear God, they cook. There is a reason why I have so many hours in Dota. It's because every time that there's a gameplay patch or major content update, the game basically reinvents itself. I've said in the past that Dota 2 has had at least 3 patches that, in my opinion, could be called the Dota 3 update. Semi-jokingly, of course, but there's also a kernel of truth to that, because believe me when I say that this new patch that Dota just released today, or yesterday at the time of this recording, this new patch is the definitive Dota 3 final for real 123. Trust me, bro. This absolute titanic gameplay patch is so game-changing, literally game-changing, that the already extremely complex game got even more complex. I mean, going off the logic of Dota 2 getting different updates to make it into Dota 3, we're probably at Dota 6 or Dota 7 by now? Dota 2 version 7.38 just came out, and it's a big one. For some context, the previous Dota patch, version 7.37, came out in November 31 of 2024, and it was a big patch in its own right. But this new one blows it out of the water. Pun very much intended. I mean, just look at the previous patch's splash. Splash, get it? Because water. The previous splash art is a boat, and 7.38 is a bunch of rivers. Makes sense because, more water. It's bigger. It makes sense. Full disclosure, this isn't a video that will go in depth about the changes in this new Dota patch. Rather, it's gonna be me talking about what this patch means for Dota, Valve, and their games and projects moving forward. This patch is so goddamn long. That's also what your mom said to me last night about my dick. Hold your horses right there. You thought I was gonna do a your mom joke. You see, I've matured, and thus I will no longer do your mom jokes moving forward. I've grown as a person. Kinda like your mom. Dota 2 is already Valve's most mechanically, strategically, intellectually, instinctually, and any other adjective or adverb you want to use to describe Dota. It is Valve's most complex game ever made, bar none. Portal doesn't come close, Half-Life doesn't come close, Counter-Strike and Team Fortress 2 doesn't even come anywhere close, and with this new update, this game just got a whole lot more complexier or something. I don't know what the proper word is. Hello and welcome, Internet Wanderer. My name is Argnax. I make video reviews, essays, commentaries, and shorts. I hope you enjoy my content enough to do the YouTube things, such as liking and subscribing. And special thanks to all the channel members, to who I am extremely grateful for their support. Their contributions mean the world to me, and it helps keep the channel going. But enough of that, let's get back to the topic at hand. This patch is big, huge, enormous, and any other vaguely sexual double entendre you want to use to describe it. If there ever was a time that you, dear viewer, wanted to get into Dota, now is the best time. Why? Because this new patch changes so many things about the game that a lot of players, myself included, might as well be newbies because we're all trying to learn what any of this new bullshit is. Again, this is the reason why I have so many hours in this game, and yet I still consider myself kinda trash at the game. I am far from being good or decent, because every few months, Dota 2 just completely overhauls itself, and I have to watch an 11-hour video just to get caught up on the patch. And these massive gameplay updates affects everyone, scrubs and pro players alike. And speaking of pro players, there's a tournament going on right now, Dream League, and its group stages, and the group stages either just completed or will complete by the time that I upload this video. But the main tournament, or the main event, is coming up soon. They agreed that, at least as far as the group stages are concerned, they will be playing in the previous patch. But whenever the main tournament comes around, they will be playing in this new patch. Now, for some context, I looked up how many words there are on this update page. There are 44,000 words in this update page. There is no way on God's green earth that these pro players, no matter how good they are, will adjust in time. There is no way that they can come up with a legitimate gameplay strategy or even come close to coming to grips with how complex this new patch is in time for this tournament. Keep in mind, this is a high production event. It's a $1 million prize pool. There's a lot at stake here for these pro players. And the fact that Valve just said, fuck you, and release this massive update is just astounding. I don't know if I should be amazed at Valve's boldness or kinda feel sympathy for these poor pro players who have to deal with this bullshit. As a bit of a side note, I have been playing a lot of Tekken 8. And its players have been expecting a new gameplay update for quite some time now. There was an update that was released this week, but it contained no gameplay updates, just stupid skins that nobody cares about. And the reasoning that they said that they're not including any gameplay updates is because there's a tournament happening in a few days. The update page says, "We did this for the consideration of the pro players." Now, I don't know if that's the Tekken developers being thoughtful or not. I lean on the fact that they're just being lazy. They also say that Tekken won't get any new gameplay updates at least until Season 2, which will be in late March or April even. So it's gonna be a while before Tekken gets any new meaningful content. This is all to say Virgin Tekken developers versus Alpha Chad Dota 2 Valve, who doesn't care about your tournament. I won't go into too much detail about this new patch, but I will go over the bullet points as to why this update is so massive. They completely overhauled the map, with various rivers acting as speed boosts if you travel along the current of the water. New evolving creeps or jungle monsters that get stronger as the game goes on, and those same jungle creeps now drop crystals or another form of currency that you can use to upgrade items, augmenting their stats and strengths more than they already can. All the map objectives have been changed or have been reshuffled. Roshan, the big boss monster, now chills in the middle of the map, walking back and forth and tossing any player who crosses his path. Awesome quality of life updates. I specifically really enjoy the Mark for Sell feature, which amazes me that it hasn't been added until now. And of course, the one thing all Dota players really want: words and numbers. So many words and numbers. This is such a juxtaposition as to how Valve treats its other big esports game, Counter-Strike 2. You see, Counter-Strike 2 gets nothing, partly because the community and the game itself doesn't want to change, and partly because Valve doesn't want to change the game. It's the perfect excuse for them to be lazy and not do anything about it. This next point isn't also related to Dota, or Valve in general, but I just wanted to talk about it. I know that Riot Games and League of Legends is going through a rough patch right now. For those who don't know, League of Legends went through a big season change or season update or something like that, and they did some changes, specifically to the loot boxes or Hextech chests. And in other words, they shafted all players in their ability to get free cosmetics.
I was already kinda in shock because I did not expect Riot to double down. But now, looking at community's reaction on top of that, oh boy, they should have not done that. I mean, under no metric whatsoever would it make sense for Riot to take away Hextech chests, which is something I did not realize was part of League of Legends for longer than it has not been. Which means if for most of their lives players are used to getting free skins from League of Legends, taking that away is really bad.
Sure, there was a gameplay update and people were fine with that, but this one change to people's ability to earn their cosmetics for free pissed off so many people that this is probably the most controversial update in League of Legends history in quite some time. So it's really funny to see League of Legends and Riot Games fumbling their game so badly. Meanwhile, Dota's just here like, okay, here's a big update. See you in like 6 months. Bye. You see, despite all the memes about Valve being lazy and not doing shit, they actually are consistently working, testing, and experimenting with new projects and content all the time. And while a lot of their games are bad examples to show off their innovations and creativity, because for one reason or another, their other games just don't get a lot of updates. Counter-Strike doesn't get a lot of updates because, well, the game doesn't want to change by nature. Team Fortress 2 and Left 4 Dead are older games with dedicated player base, and thus no new content is really needed, and those players are already invested in the game, so they don't really care. Half-Life 3 isn't out because Valve is just lazy or something, I don't know. Dota 2 is the prime example of showing off what Valve can truly accomplish. When they really want to push a game to new heights, they push, and Dota 2 is the best showcase of their potential. I was worried that Valve would give Dota less attention since they were also working on Deadlock, which many people see as the spiritual successor of Dota, but this gigantic update tells me otherwise. I haven't been playing a lot of Dota recently. I've been busy doing other games, and Honestly, I just didn't have the time to play Dota. But I told myself that I would get back into the game as soon as a new patch would come around, and I fully intend to keep my end of the bargain. I mean, it's not like I can quit. 9,000 hours, remember? Thanks for watching, Internet Wanderer. Do the YouTube things.